I was joining all their group chats and watching everyone realize that they've lost all of their money.
Do you want your 2x in a year that you go with blue chip, or do you want your 10x, 100x a day that you go with the newest launches?
How do you think they're influencing the market, and do you think anything nefarious is going on here?
25% people coming to CMC is for meme coins, and that's insane. That's the highest it's ever gone.
Hi guys, and welcome to What's the Meta. I'm your host, Ryan S. Gladwin, and I'm here with Alice Liu, the head of research at CoinMarketCap. How are you?
Hi everyone. I'm very good, Ryan. I'm very good. Thanks for having me on here. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you. Most meme coins start at ground zero. There's no marketing budget, there's no centralized exchange listing, and they're not on CoinMarketCap. I think it'd be particularly interesting to dig in with you on how meme coin teams can sort of build momentum from the first time they've launched on Pump.fun or another token launchpad to becoming a blue chip token that is seen as in line with the Dogecoins of the world. From your market research, what is one of the major factors that you've seen that helps meme coins build momentum?
Yeah, sure. It's such a good question because meme coin would probably be the tag of this year for sure. Especially, I think we are saying in March time, May time, that if you look at the total market cap of meme coins when it was at the peak of May time, it's something around like 69 billion US dollar for the total market cap of meme coins on CMC. Right now, I think things started to quiet down a little bit, but it still maintains its momentum. And along the way, we've seen things like political meme coins, celebrities launching their own meme projects, but also some ground up projects and memes that are very loved by people and become very successful this year for the likes of Pepe, Dogwifhat, and the different cat memes that we've seen recently, right? So to your question of what makes them successful and why some of them can come out so quickly, become so big, the main reason here would be community support, to be honest. It would be the adoption, would be people love it, want to be part of it, jump on board, treat it, hold it. That adoption from the community is going to be the most primary reason here. And the second thing I would say is probably timing. Timing is very important because what we are saying, for example, sad news around Doge, the dog passed away this year. And what we are saying, the substitute projects are also getting a lot of spotlights, right? So some of this will come to the timing of the market. And that's especially true when it comes to political meme coins, which we can also talk about a bit later as well.
There's a lot to dig into there. I guess political meme coins might be a good one to start with. My perspective on political meme coins is it almost feels like a vote towards the person you're holding, because Joe Biden, for example, as soon as he left the race, his token completely tanked. And it seemed like some people were confused. But logically, right, for that token to succeed, that person needs to be in the public eye. Do you think political meme coins are sort of a vote on who's going to win the election?
That definitely plays a factor, but it's interesting to say because Trump, for example, has his NFT collections. He also has meme coins. There's also some other meme projects that are not directly related to himself, but it's also bagging onto that factor. So what's the difference between the price performance, even just for the same person, same political figure, having the different meme projects versus NFTs, and why some of it pumps, as you said, whereas others, for example, for a political figure to leave the election race and then for the coins to tank, you have to separate it in a sense where there's gambling factors and there's supporting like the fandomness of it, right? So definitely from the being a fan of showing your support, it's almost like a poly market type of situation here where you go and you show your support, you want the coins to raise. And a lot of the times, if it's with good publicity, you know, if all the headlines, you are bound to have the token coin to pump. But also there's trading factors as well. So I think some of it, especially with the open interest that we're seeing on some of the derivatives positions around some of these big political meme coins, it's very obvious it's also used as a trading tool for people to just take opportunities, a swing trade as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, I wrote a story about when Tim Walz was nominated as Kamala Harris's VP. There were meme coins of the other nominees that didn't win in the end. And I was joining all their group chats and watching everyone realize that they've lost all of their money. And they were like, no, what's happened to my bag? It's like, well, this person's not going to be spoken about for at least another 4 years until maybe they have something happen in politics. Zooming out a little bit more into like the general concept of metas within crypto. It ties a little bit into timing, like you mentioned about with Doge dying and then Nero coming about, and there was all those Nero tokens. What does it take for a token to break out of just being a meta? Because those Nero tokens were the meta for a period of time. We've seen some struggle, but it appears that the Ethereum one has broken out as the token there. How do you break out of just being a product of a meta?
Such a good question. If there is a formula for everyone to use, I think people would use it, especially
Yeah.
now. Yeah, you have to say now with Pump.fun or Moonshot, for example, a lot of these launch pads, so many. Like it's so easy to create a meme projects now, right? But I guess one thing, Nero, for example, that you mentioned, I do want to explain a little bit because as a project, when they first, I guess the popularity has always behind the new dog, right? So people always wanted to follow that community and jump on board. But at the same time that we're seeing a lot of honeypots, some of the other like fake projects that are backing onto this. So there's so many different smaller projects coming out. It has to be the top of the top. It has to be the premium of all the attention, because this, at the end of the day, this is attention economy. It has to be the strongest community, the strongest meme that would have the biggest support. Now, I guess your question is, how can a meme become the strongest or the most popular? Interesting thing, I wanted to mention Pepe because I honestly think Pepe is one of the revolutionary, like a point where the whole industry sees a different way to play. Because before that, it's all some sort of KOL led, right? Elon Musk pushed for the Doge and all those coins. But Pepe starting from the first community driven coins. And later on, we see all these different projects coming out that can just purely be successful based on community support. So definitely a milestone there. I would still say have to be the best of the best to capture that attention.
It all comes back to community. I'm interested in why you think community matters when it comes to meme coins, because meme coins are a financial tool that people invest in. There's not communities around people who invest in Disneyland or something like that. It's a very unique thing to not even just crypto, but meme coins in particular.
First of all, don't give them ideas on meme coin projects. If you say Disneyland is not yet, they might do another one on that. But
Yeah.
why community can be successful in this case? Because the high FDV and low liquidity projects on some of the large alternatives that people would normally go in an altcoin season. What you have right now with meme coins is a more fairer way for people to participate. So one of that comes to people come to crypto, some of the groups that come in here to support the innovations and they buy into the value proposition. Some coming to want to have some good trades and make some profits out of it. Increasingly, there is a diversion on which direction you take with instruments, right? And we are seeing meme coins becoming a lot more adopted by the community to use as a more decentralized way to get that profits because it's less concentrated on the big VCs, on the different big wallets or holders. It's perceived to be a lot more you can still make it type of coins. So I guess that's one of the reasons why communities can be translated in a sense to financial value here. That's one thing. And the second thing would be compare with that is also the speed and how quick things can happen. I have to say Pump.fun or Moonshot or all of those launch pads, launch pools that we are seeing with meme coins now make it so fast and so quick for people to create meme projects. The idea of just jump on the train and trying to join the ride and benefit in that process, like people are giving more and more tools to trade this. Back then, maybe, some people will still buy and hold for meme projects, but now there are a lot more tools for people just coming and trade it. So that's another difference here as well for this market cycle on the meme projects.
I think it's the perfect time to speak about Pump.fun. When you're speaking about the meme coin market as a whole, it's impossible to ignore Pump.fun. Aside from Polymarket, it feels like the killer app this cycle. From your research, how have you seen Pump.fun change the meme coin market?
Yeah, so I think there is also a news that I saw today about Pump.fun generated $5 million in fees. That's the highest there has been. Although there's a bit of a question on if that just might be a figure. We have to double check the figure because it seems to be misrecorded, some data sort of spike. Otherwise, if you look at the fees that they've been generating on a daily basis, you see the trend of when market started to heat up. Now, to your point, as you mentioned, pump.fun has been such like a different, like a revolutionary thing for this market, together with other competitor products as well, right? That a few of them that we've mentioned, they've just given the platform for people to create this so easy and so quickly. So again, the speed of it, but also for it to have almost like a mini incubator for meme coin projects before it gets big. Because back then, for meme coin projects to be successful, you have to get listed on, all these exchanges, dexes, and then centralized exchanges and all of those. But now with pump.fun, you can have a platform to already start building your community, start to have those gather people around, gather the trades around. So that's definitely one of the main reason. But also, it's just a very good tool, again, an innovation that we didn't have in the previous cycle. I don't know what happened first. I don't know if it's the tools like this that give us the meme coin mania, or it's the meme coin mania that facilitated us to have these new tools because the demand is there. To me, I agree with your point. I think it's quite a revolutionary thing.
Pump.fun spouts out 16,000 meme coins a day. I think over the weekend it was 23,000 in one day, which is absolutely insane. So obviously there's a whole load, 99% of the tokens they launch are just dead tokens and they never go anywhere. Are we seeing Pump.fun influence these blue chip large meme coins as well, or is it really influence down on these lower levels?
We are still testing the water, I would say. I get what you mean, because the good part of it is facilitating all the new projects. The bad part of it is now I think you have to be a lot more careful when you trade meme coins, right? So that's the downside of it. Does it impact the top blue chip? We are still in the testing phase, I'd say, to see if any of the new generation projects that spin off Pump.fun or Moonshot, etc., are going to be blue chip. One thing I would say is probably some of the recent projects you're seeing is starting to have that trend, especially that's more obvious with Moonshot, for example. There's just a smooth transition of how that can then link to Dex Screener, and then some of the other, linking to all the different dexes, etc. It definitely gives it advantage to give a fair, like a push at the launch stage for the meme coins. But it also muddies the water, as you said, maybe just makes it a lot more competitive towards the, I would say, like the newer level of the market.
Previously, it feels like we kind of had Dogecoin as the meme coin, and then we had a few others floating about. Whereas now it feels like we've got the blue chips, including Dogecoin, then we've got sort of like this middle level that you're referencing there. Then you've got the absolute crap that no one even thinks about.
Yes, it started to have different strategies. Back then, people say crypto is one trading strategy. Like now, after that, we have like different categories. It's almost different trading strategies. But now, even within meme coins, you have different categories of meme coins. Do you want your 2x in a year that you go with blue chip, or do you want your 10x, 100x a day that you go with the newest launches? It's like pick your spots. You have all the different options.
Absolutely. Talking of blue chips, I think it's interesting. First off, the concept of a blue chip meme coin is interesting anyway. How does a token sort of get into that category of this is seen as a reputable meme coin that essentially is not going to get rug pulled anytime soon and is here to stay? How does a meme coin get into that category?
There is almost like an SOP, I think, that people follow on identifying blue chip meme coins, and how like there are different levels of filters that has to go through, right? Like the liquidity when it reaches certain levels, the social follows, where it's listed, and just the price, and make sure it's almost like on the safer side of a meme project. But to add to that, I would also want to say, depends on how you identify it as a blue chip, because those people that jumped on board very early on for WIF or for like Boom, for some of those projects at the beginning, some of them just followed the right KOL, to be honest, especially when it comes to examples of Boom, right? Because memes, if you follow the right people and you see that's the type of project that they're releasing, it gives you a bit more comfort to say that this potentially has the chance to become a blue chip. But at the same time, right now as the industry goes, we started to have some KOLs going the other direction. they can replicate on the community as well.
I think KOLs is an interesting topic to dig into. And it's something that I've been trying to write the piece about, but it's really hard because everyone I speak to either doesn't want to talk about it or they know something and they're not willing to fully tell me, and it's kind of scary. KOLs, for those who don't know, key opinion leader, it's sort of like a crypto influencer. How do you think they're influencing the market? And do you think anything nefarious is going on here?
Back to the point where we said meme coin is all about community. So KOLs and their role to play in meme coin definitely it's a lot more in this category compared with other sides of the crypto markets. Initially, when we started the meme trend in March, April, and May, we see the very obvious trend of big KOLs pushing for good meme projects, trying to like build more momentum in this space. And that's a very good thing. But later on, as the market goes, we see more and more noise coming out about the other direction we talked about. Right now, it's really hard to a point where, especially the current market, at some point in June on CMC, 25% of all the page views of every time people come onto CMC website to check a price of a coin, we sort of say the data there. 25% of that people coming to CMC is for meme coins. And that's insane. That's the highest it's ever got since the start of crypto. But that's in June time, right? July time, when the market started to quiet down, I think we had quite a choppy July. To be honest, the price has always been sideways actions. Meme trend started to decrease from there. It dropped from 25% to something around 12%. So we're back to a more toned down levels. That's where we see some of the shady behaviors of previous, like the wrongdoings by the wrong KOLs have started to surface in the market. Based on how terrified the whole market is, how sensitive the market is, I think it's going to be harder and harder for people to pull that sort of rock the community trick anymore. And I really sincerely hope we see fewer and fewer of that.
Do you think that issue kind of stems from most key opinion leaders and crypto influencers out there anonymous? Do you think that's an issue that comes from the anonymity of most of the crypto Twitter community?
I mean, how anonymous can you be these days? Because people track wallets and whatnot, right? Like you can do this to a certain degree, but if you're tracked, and I still think it's just not the sustainable thing to do. On the KOL topic, one good example, I want to show what good looks like, because with the mother token, with Iggy, well, you can, in a sense, to say, yes, that's celebrity tokens. They're big, huge KOLs already. But what I want to say, the good example of this is it started as a meme project, right? Iggy, it had quite impressive run for the mother tokens. But later on, it becomes a community NFT type of character. I think they're planning on a lot more utilities to come into it. In the future, you can use the mother token to help buy some of the concert tickets, etc. So this is what a meme project could turn into, which is a community project. Same goes to Pepe, same goes to Doge. I think some of these so-called blue chip big meme projects are trying to build their communities. This is a community NFT in a sense.
On the community subject, there's a trend that I've noticed this year, which I've really been enjoying just observing, is sort of some meme coins are now branding themselves as culture coins rather than meme coins. And it's sort of, they're gathered around this meme that unites them on a common ethos. GigaChad is the first example that pops to my head, but Mog is another one. There's lots of communities that sort of gather around this common ethos. Why do you think it is that crypto investors, crypto traders are looking to connect on a common ethos like this?
I guess otherwise there's nothing to connect onto. Culture has to be the ground. But I was trying to think this thing when you ask about that. I was thinking, would this actually help us to tell the story to Web2 people?
Mm-hmm.
Because one important thing about meme project is to bring new users in, right? To bring new on-ramp Web2 users to Web3. How far is it for us to have a meme coin fund? Would something that is backed onto a culture side that is more acceptable by Web2 community? Would that help us progress to that direction? Maybe that's one point I'm thinking. But in terms of why everyone seems to have a culture thing to latch onto, I guess that's just how you gather a group of people.
Yeah. It's just funny because there's some tokens where it is just literally, this is a cute dog. Dogwifhat is, this is a
Yeah.
cute dog. Whereas there's other projects, GigaChad, a great example, where it's like, no, it's about improving yourself every day. And this isn't about meme coins. This is about something bigger. Speaking about bringing in the normies, do you think meme coins is helping with mass adoption?
I would say it definitely gives a tool for people. I saw this survey by, I believe it's by Kraken, saying in terms of the users in the US, how much of them, like their incentives and their attitudes towards crypto, meme coin in general and the new generation tokens, they combined together has about 30%. So 30% of the users that they surveyed says they're coming into crypto because their linkage to meme projects or the new generation tokens. So I guess that in itself definitely help us to onboard normies. But again, to be honest, during the current market, where can you get that type of return? It helps with this gambling effects that it's almost providing a space for people to be able to achieve 100x, 200x with that possibility. So definitely it's attractive in itself to onboard normies into this space. At the same time, majority of the people that are being surveyed there still said they come in for the large cap coins. So you do have the divided audience base. I would say culturally, it's definitely very attractive for meme coins to onboard normies.
Yeah, I totally agree. And something like pump.fun is fairly easy to use once you sort of like understand what's going on. But do you think it's good that this is being used as an onboarding tool? We've mentioned all of the possible rug pulls that can happen and all of the crazy stuff that can go on. If I'm interacting with crypto for the first time, and the first time I interact with crypto, it's pump.fun, I'm probably going to get rugged 1,000 times before I make a 10x.
So I've been reading this feedback and comments from like people on Reddit about like how many times you go rug pulled and do people actually make money trading meme coins? I see all of those stories. Definitely, if you get burned when you first come in, that's the worst introduction you can have for crypto. We are here, like all the different topics that your podcast cover. Crypto is more than just meme. It has so many elements to it now. So we definitely want to give people a proper introduction. But again, at the same time, there are different tools that are being built, being provided for people to check that. All the different tools that you can check, honeypots, rug pull, all of those, deck screeners and all of those that SimSay is building. We have our own deck scan as well. But like all these tools that you can use to check the meme coin trend and also all the different chat groups and you can take advice on. People started to build different SOPs on how do you actually go about trading meme coins. What are some done and tested useful strategies? What are some really good signals? There are a lot of them you can see on X, on Reddit, all of those. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't know if you personally trade. I know people who trade meme coins like treat that as a job. Like you start, it's 8 hours in front of it. Just it's yeah.
Yeah, it's intense. I'm not entirely sure that getting rug pulled is gonna completely turn someone off. The way that I got into the idea of finance at all was I invested in GameStop while I was at university and I lost all of my money. So in that sense, that happened, and I was like kind of angry that I fell for it and what had happened.
Yeah.
And then I used that as an opportunity to learn. And I do think there are people that will get rug pulled and will be like, oh, how did I do that? And then learn from it. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will get rug pulled and just get out of there.
Did you get the profit back from the meme token?
I'm staying away from anything GameStop related.
Yeah, very good point. Because
Yeah,
when
yeah.
people first come in, even if you make a small mistake, the lessons you learn from all your failed trades are a lot more than your winning trades.
I want to zoom back to something you said at the beginning, just to bring this full circle at the end here. Do you think 2024 was the year of the memes?
Yes. If I have 3 options to put different tags for this year, one definitely is going to be meme coins. This is the year for meme coins. I would say in terms of, so there are so many data points that I can show you and prove that point, right? The page view that we talked about, a quarter of what people came to CMC website in June was for meme coins. And if you look at the market cap for meme coins, it started the year. It's really when, by the way, if you go onto CoinMarketCap and you click on the meme category, it gives you this chart at the top to show you the market cap volume, but also the performance. So it's very obvious right now, like we started the year with meme coins at 20 something billion, and at the peak of it, we achieved something around 66 billion. That's just on the meme coins itself. Like that's quite impressive already. Compared with that, the rest of the market was really lacking on the growth there. Some at certain time of the year, meme coin was the number one growth factors for the entire industry. It also saved us during markets where it was very low liquidity for the large caps, but it was very active market for meme coins. So this in itself is how meme coin contributes back to crypto, right, in general. But also just that trend didn't go away. We started in March and it stays to a very high level, even though it dropped slightly during July when the market was bad. But it quickly bounced back towards the end of the July with, all the politics going on and political meme coins. Now, going into the end of the year, when we have the US election coming in November, when we have the different big cultural events going on, I think meme coin will be here to stay, and it's very much the most prominent tag for this year. It's the meme coin.
Yeah, absolutely. I started full time at Decrypt this year, and when I was starting, I was sort of like looking around, like, what do I want to really specialize in here, and what do I really want to give most of my attention to? And it was just obvious that meme coins is the craziest thing going on here. It's not even just the sheer volume that you're talking about; it's the culture that comes with it, the communities, like we were speaking about. It's really something impressive going on in crypto, and I think it's one of the most interesting parts of the internet, if I'm honest. The creator of Pump.fun, Alon, I think that's how you pronounce his name, said that crypto Twitter is probably crypto's greatest invention, which is probably true, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Alice. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you very much for having me on. It's been very fun.